Hey, good morning, everybody. We got a little hustle in the mud going on and everything. Before I forget, I wanted to let you know I got a deal. Free, okay? Doesn't cost you a dime. Send me an email, rentalrobertpcola. It's in the description at gmail.com. And send your phone number as well as with it, and I will give you a 15-minute phone conversation for free. No charge or anything of that nature. My whole intent by doing that is to give something back to hopefully, it seems like a lot of people have questions out there and they might be in a situation that they're not able to spend $100 for an hour or whatnot. And so I wanted to give those people an opportunity. And then if you just got a question and you're like, yeah, I'd like to know the answer or what he thinks, but I'm not going to pay $100. I get it. So this is your opportunity. No charge to you or anything like that. So again, the email's in the description. Send me a email on it and include your phone number and I'll give you a call. It's always a controversial topic as far as having to do with friends. Our network is our net worth, so to speak, and everything. And I'm going to tell you exactly why it is so important to associate with people that are in a position that you want to be. And at the very least, people that are where you're at, but why it's so detrimental to have people that you spend a lot of time with that are, for lack of better words, where you used to be. And the thing about it is that, I have a lot of people that ridicule me that you're just about the money. It's the love of your money. And then they want to start quoting scripture about, the money is the root of all evil. They get the scripture all messed up and everything like that. I do go to church. I am a Christian and everything. And what ends up happening is that I've learned something really important by that. And generally speaking, I was actually going to lie to you, 100% across the board, I have yet to have this be any different. And what it is that every person that has said negative things about that has a bad, negative, not good association with money. And the thing about it is that there is something, and I'll give you a story. There was a person that I know, and their husband had died. They had a house. They wanted to get the house paid off, and they had a rental property they'd inherited, and it was paid for. And they're like, I think I'm going to sell the rental house, and then I'm going to take that money. I'm going to pay the house off, and then I'm going to, and I was like, don't. That's a bad idea. Well, why? And I said, take the money from the rent. Put it onto the house payment. In less than 10 years, your house is going to be paid off. And then you're going to have a rental property that continues to put money in your pocket. They didn't like that idea. And I asked them, I said, do you know how much you're going to need in retirement? Well, no. And they work for a municipality, so they're going to get a pension basically for the rest of their life. They think, okay, there's no guarantees. And I was like, well, how much do you need to live on? Well, I've never thought about that. And I said, okay, well, what kind of life do you want? And they're not that far away from retirement. And they couldn't tell me. And they really had no interest in figuring those things out. Okay, that's a choice. So what ends up happening is that as time goes on, you're sick, you're messed up, you're this, you're that, there's more to life than money and everything. And I'm like, I understand, and I have no problem with people that think like that. Come to find out that her parents were, as she put, workaholics, and they were always looking to make more money. And she said, I just wish they spent more time with me. And so there's a couple conclusions you can draw that if you have money, you don't love people. If somebody is trying to make more money, then they're not going to love you, whatever it is, but it's a negative connotation that's attached to that money, okay? Here's the thing is that person decided to They sold the rental, paid off the house, took a big trip to Europe, and then started buying campers and choosing to rent them out. Great side hustle. They're new campers, and hopefully they were able to get rented out enough that they were able to make the purchase price, and so that they would have them paid off and then start making profit before the campers started to deteriorate. Okay, and the thing about it is that there's different grades of campers. Okay, and some of them are meant to only be used 2 or 3 times a year, and then some of them are meant to be lived out of permanently. Okay, and generally speaking, the difference is going to be in the quality of the materials, the way it's constructed, and certainly the price. Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad hustle. Okay, it's a depreciating asset. As soon as you pull it off the lot, it loses value. Okay, and so you have to rent it out constantly to be able to outrun the depreciation, get to a point where you make profit, or you get it paid for, and then start to make profit. They weren't too interested in numbers. Okay, they just thought it was a good idea. I hope they're doing well. But we did find out that they've got a negative connotation having to do with making money. And what I find with most people is that that's the case across the board when they're sitting there telling you, because here's a simple fact is, folks, is everything you do requires money. Okay? If you're in the United States of America, everything that you do requires money. If you slept in a bed, somebody had to pay for the bed, somebody had to pay for the sheets. If you had air conditioning or heat, somebody had to pay for that. If you had a cell phone beside your bed, somebody had to pay for that. The clothes, the pajamas, whatever, if you got up, had some coffee, somebody had to pay for that. Food, breakfast, somebody had to pay for that. The list goes on and on and on as far as what's going on with the money. And the thing about it is that if the people you associate with don't have your same view, only 2 things can happen. You cut them loose, or you have to pull them with you. And if you're pulling them with you, they weigh. There's weight to them. And so what ends up happening is it gets harder and harder to bring them. And it's going to be much easier that if you latch on to dead weight, for you to slide back to where the weight is instead of pulling that dead weight up to where you're at. Second thing is it's going to cost you money. I've seen it way too many times. I mean, you see like MC Hammer at one time when he was in the prime of his music business, I want to say the figure was he had 200 people on the payroll, and these were just like family members and cousins and things of that nature that really had no purpose, that added no value to his company except for sucking money out. But he was not changing his circle of influence. He kept the same and had to bring them along with him. You see that kind of stuff all the time. And that is one of the biggest wealth-sucking activities that a person can engage in. I didn't really notice it, and I've always heard that term about, your net worth or your network is going to be your net worth, And in the last 2 years, my net worth has really grown, and a lot of that has had to do with the people that I've been associating with, okay? Don't take financial advice from people that are broke. Please, for the love of God, don't do that, all right? They can tell you, you invest in this stock and that stock and everything like that. But when you look at it and say, well, what are you invested in? Well, I'm going to be waiting until tomorrow and everything. New Year's resolution and everything. I'm going to get to it. You ain't got to do it now. I can do it next year or something like that. And it's like, okay. It's like I had a buddy of mine. Guy been married this guy, he'd been married 7 times. And he asked me, he said, we were talking, and he said, oh man, I can tell you all about, marriage. And I said, no, you can't. He was like, yeah, I can. I said, no, you can tell me about being divorced. You're an expert on it. What? Where the hell you get off talking to me like that? And I said, you are. You've been married 7 times. You know how to be divorced. Well, man, that's just not right. I said, dude, it's the truth. That's what you know. You know how to get divorced. I said, if I ever got married and I'm looking to get divorced, then I'm going to come and talk to you because you're an expert. But I'm not coming to talk to you about how to be married. I said, I'll go talk to my parents. They were married 47 years before my dad died. They're experts at it. They might not have been happy. I don't know. They looked happy, but the thing is that they woke up with the same person day in, day out for 47 years. My buddy did not. So, and I see this all the time. Why on earth? It's kind of like, do you go to Amco Transmission to ask them questions about having to do with your heart? No. You ask them questions about having to do with transmission for your vehicle. Be smart about this. So much of this is just common sense. So there you have my Sunday morning ramblings. It's Coffee with Robert, and we're just making things happen left and right. And again, if you want that free phone call, 15 minutes of my time, send me an email with your phone number and I will get back with you. Have yourself a very wonderful day.